I thought it was a story of two halves for us. I thought the turnovers in the first half really hurt us. They, really, I think, punished us in transition off of our turnovers. Missed 6 free throws, and then, even our transition, besides the turnovers, was a difficult problem for us. So I thought in the second half we did a much better job. We took better care of the basketball, which enabled us to get back in transition, and I think probably play better defense. It's one game, and we'll have to take a look at the film and try to figure out ways we can get better and improve, and try to come back and play better on Wednesday.
Myron Patton, Fox 25, Oklahoma City. The turnovers 10 the first half, 2 the second half. What was the biggest change? Why so much better the second half?
I felt like our decision making was better. I felt like we were in the middle of the floor a little bit more, where maybe some options were a little bit easier to see. I think our guys were conscientious about it. And again, I've said this before. We're not a perfect team, but these guys really battle and fight and they compete. And I think when they see something that's a problem, they really try to do to the best of their ability, take the time to try to correct it.
Eric Horn, the Oklahoman. What was Russell doing in particular in that third quarter that made him so successful? Not just offensively, but defensively as well. He had 3 steals in that quarter.
He did a really good job. Again, the Golden State's a very difficult team to guard. I think as the game wore on, you kind of can start to feel a little bit more comfortable with the speed and the movement. We did a better job defensively. I'm sure Steve will sit up here and maybe say that they need to do a better job offensively. So it's both ways. So I don't want to sit there and take credit that our defense was just stellar, because I'll go back and watch the film. But I thought we did a good job based on the actions and the things that we were having to guard. And then offensively, he was really in the middle of the floor, Russell. He was able to get to the front of the rim. He made some passes and generated some offense for some other guys. He did a lot. He was very well balanced and between his scoring and his passing.
Brian Brinkley, KFOR, Oklahoma City. Coach, you talked this morning about being able to withstand their runs. You never let them. They'd have 7-9-0 runs. It never got to 15-16-0. And talk about the poise of your team to be able to kind of limit those runs and hang around.
Well, I think you have to do that. It's even the shot Steph made to close out the half. It's a 10-point game, and he makes an incredible shot. He made one in the second half where he banked it off the backboard at the end of the shot clock. You've got to be able to do that. They've got incredible shot-making ability. I thought some of the shots that Klay Thompson made tonight were remarkable, and some of them were closely contested and very well guarded. But they still went in. That's part of the game when you play against these guys. This is why I think they're obviously a terrific team, is because they have guys that can generate and make plays when there doesn't look like there's any plays to be made, and you can't allow that to affect you. You've got to play through that. That's why they are who they are. So I give our guys credit, because, the first part of the game, it was in the first quarter, we were turning it over. We were kind of going back and forth. But we got down double digits a couple times, and our guys just kept fighting and battling. And, we managed to get it back close and give ourselves a chance.
Dean Blevin, CBS, Oklahoma City. Coach, what does it say about this team that you can give up 60 in the first half and your primary scorers go 10 of 30 and 7 of 21? They're 33%, and you can walk out of here with a win.
Well, again, I think if you look at the fourth quarter, whether it was a combination of good defense by us or maybe some cold shooting by them, our defense coming down the stretch was good in terms of the amount of points that we allowed. That was a big help. We got to continue. That's the one thing we've done a good job of here in the playoffs. I think it's the end of the season came is, in that fourth quarter, I think we've defended better, and that's helped us in a lot of ways, even on the offensive end of the floor, because when we get stops, we're able to get out in transition. It makes it easier to score.